Hi. Okay, so this is our 112.1 skin theory. This is going to describe the functions of the skin, composition of the skin, pigmentation, sunscreen, as well as the different types of skin. So these are just some facts about skin. Skin is actually the largest organ of the body. It is both spontaneously sensitive and durable and requires special attention and care to maintain its health, elasticity, color, and vibrance. An average adult skin spans about 21 square feet, it weighs 9 pounds, and contains more than 11 miles of blood vessels. Your skin also sheds 30,000 to 40,000 cells every minute. Every month, the entire outer surface of your skin is replaced, and every square inch of your skin holds up to 300 sweat glands. So dermatology is the study of the skin, structures, functions, diseases, and treatments. If you are a dermatologist, you are a specialist that studies that medical skin specialty. Within aesthetics, this is the process of cleansing, toning, moisturizing, protecting, and enhancing your skin. So that's, think your SD program in our school. This is the same idea. They're going to study a lot more in depth about skin. Even though you are a cosmetologist, you are allowed to perform these services once you have your license. Your skin, again, largest organ, it covers your entire body and it protects from invasion of outside particles. So it is your protective layer. All right, so the 6 basic functions of your skin. Every function has a different responsibility. Without one, the other ones don't do as well either. So all of these 6 functions really need to work in sync together. So if you look at the first letter of each function, it spells out the word shapes for you to remember a little bit easier. So the S in shapes at the beginning, this is sensation. So sensing of heat, cold, touch, pain, pressure, reaction to sensation is called a reflex. It also heat regulates, so this helps control the body's temperature. It absorbs, so it can help pass certain substances through the tissues. Again, it is also there to protect you from anything like falls, cold, heat, bacteria, UV light, and environmental pollutants. It also excretes or eliminates sweat, salt, and waste from your body. And it secretes. So it secretes sebum. Sebum, remember, is oil. This helps to keep your skin soft, supple, pliable, and it prevents bacteria from invading your skin as well. So excrete eliminates sweat. Secrete secretes sebum. All right, then you have your 3 main layers of skin, which is where a lot of people have a little bit more issue remembering the layers and what they do. So I definitely recommend focusing some of your study time on this, or most of it on this. On the test, it does talk about what different layers are responsible for what. So trying to remember that in your own way for your test next week. So the 3 main layers are your epidermis. This is also called your cuticle or scarf skin because I think it's like the outer layer. It's consisted of keratinized surface cells. So hardened protein, essentially. Your dermal layer is right below that, and this is going to be the largest layer. So this is called the dermal or dermis, the corium, cutis, true skin. This is what's underneath everything. So if you think of this almost like a hair follicle, you have your outer layer, your epidermis, and your dermis would be the equivalent of like your cortex, and the subcutaneous would be the equivalent of like the medulla. However, the dermal layer consists mostly of collagen. It's about 80% collagen and 3% elastin to make it elastic or, stretchable, flexible. It also includes the sebaceous glands here for your sebum or your oil. And your hair follicles mostly live here too. So if you look here, this is your hair follicle. It lives mostly in the dermal layer. This is referred to as the living layer because anything that penetrates the dermal layer is absorbed into your blood and lymph supply. And then your subcutaneous layer, also called the hypodermis or the subdermis, it's located below the dermal. And it's made mostly of adipose. This is like fatty tissue, as well as loose connective tissue and blood vessels. So more on the epidermis. There are no blood vessels actually found in the epidermis. It receives nourishment from the lower layer, which is that dermis or dermal layer. So it receives nourishment a little bit below that, down here in the dermis. It's composed again of keratin and epithelial cells, and it consists of 5 main layers, which we need to know. So these are the 5 layers, and it's starting from, this is the top of your skin, and going deeper, and down here below that is the dermis. So in the epidermis, you have your stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basal. Down below, it's easy to remember this very bottom one is responsible for cell growth because it's closer to the nourishment that's down below in the dermal layer. We'll go over these two a little bit more. All right, so starting from the bottom, your stratum basal. This is also called the stratum germinativum. It's the lowest or deepest layer of the epidermis. This is where cell growth occurs and like mitosis or cell division happens. And cells are pushed towards the surface of the skin, and it helps to replace cells that are being shed. So it's constantly producing, cell dividing, and moving upwards towards the top of the epidermis to replace that skin. The melanocytes are located in the basal layer. They're structured with spidery dendrites that extend into the keratinocytes and deliver those melanosomes. Remember, melanocytes think it's producing pigment. So the pigment is really there in your skin for protection. Pigmentation is basic melanin, meaning what you are born with. Hyperpigmentation is a result of external factors, thinking like being outside, being exposed to sun exposure. All right, so then the stratum spinosum. So moving up, this is the next layer, and it's sometimes considered to be part of the stratum basal layer. But it includes cells that have absorbed melanin to distribute pigmentation to other cells. The cells then become different shapes, and this is why they have the appearance of like spines between the cells. So through here, they become different shapes, and they get spiny or spinosum layer. That just helps hold the cells together. Then your stratum granulosum, these cells look like tiny granules. Easy to remember, granulosum, granules. These granules are on the way to the skin surface. The keratination begins as they push towards the surface, and they produce proteins. Again, keratinocytes, keratinization, think keratin or protein. As the new cells move away from the basal layer, they flatten out, then they die, and then that's when they are shed. Then you move up to stratum lucidum. It's located on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet only, where there are no hair follicles. Cells found in this layer are even more flattened and transparent or clear, and they are called squamous cells because they are flat or scale-like, squamous or scale. Squamous cells make the skin thickest on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. This layer helps reduce friction between the stratum corneum and the stratum granulosum. So it's almost like a buffer layer. It's small, so if you look here, down here you had that previous granulosum layer, and then you have this lucidum. I remember lucidum because, like, if you think like lucid dreaming or like